Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? My name is Talia Joy. Hello, hello. As I am recording on this day, it has started snowing. And although I'm in Canada, we don't get snow every year where I am. I'm on the very, very west coast on Vancouver Island. We actually have palm trees more than we have snow. So it doesn't come every year, but when it does, it's really special. We basically woke up to everything covered in white. The kids have just been loving it, walking outside in the morning. It's all that deafening noise, or not noise, but how snow absorbs the noise. So it almost gets really quiet and it's like crunchy under your feet and it's pretty magical. So right now I'm looking out at snow and trees that are dusted in snow and everything's white and it's pretty beautiful. So that's a little bit about my moment. I felt compelled to share. How are you? Are you hydrated? Are you well slept? I really do hope that you're doing well. And no matter how you're feeling today, whether it's a heavy day, a good day, a snowy day, a sunny day, I take you as you are. Welcome to this safe space. Big breath in. Welcome. I'm excited you're here today. So we are diving into a topic that might shift or expand or add to the way that you see manifestation, the way that you see yourself, and especially when we feel like we cannot manifest something for the life of us that we really, really want. Desire is often not the issue. We want it. And a lot of us, as we go through the healing journey, we can even start to go I'm worthy of that. And, I can step into this. But when it's almost like an invisible thread seems to hold you back, this is probably what's going on. This is what was going on for me. So we're talking about the nervous system and its interaction with manifestation. And when I say manifestation, I just mean self-growth, moving forward, achieving the things you want to achieve, having visions of I'd love to do this and then being able to do it, personal transformation, it's all of that. So how does, moving forward basically interact with our nervous system? That's what we're talking about. So I want to say, first of all, I'm not an expert when it comes to the nervous system. In the last couple of years, I have worked with a few beautiful, highly educated souls in this and learned so much. I've read books, I've done trainings and things like that to learn about it for myself and really noticed how it has impacted my ability to be resilient, to move forward or not. I can now, pinpoint and detect and be able to feel into my body on a whole new level. It's helped with trauma healing and, of course, as I'm saying, manifestation, moving forward, self-care, showing up for myself, my self-talk. It's really changed my life in the last few years. So we're going to talk about it. And I think it's something that's really going to help you because all of us humans have nervous systems. I'm going to kind of get into the 101 about that. And we've all been through stuff. We've all been through trauma. We all have, pressure in our lives and things that go on in states of stress and all this. So we all have obviously a nervous system that we're dealing with. And sometimes we're in stress and sometimes we're in relaxation. And, we all can really relate to that. So I'm going to share again how it interacts with actually being able to manifest and to be able to complete the manifestation, have it actually land. Because that's something I didn't understand is that I have to know how to hold that energetic capacity of what I'm creating for it to be able to be created. We'll get all into it. So if you feel like you've been doing everything that you can and you've been, trying to meditate or trying to work through things, journal, intend, and you've even been creating some stuff, but you feel like there's that invisible veil almost holding you back, this is probably what's going on and I can't wait to help you with it. This is also important because as we move forward on our path, it's really about the daily, energy, the integration, the devotion, the daily practice. As we become deeper into the work, we recognize that more and more. It's not just one weekend that changes your life or one plant medicine thing that takes away all your stuff. It's really a true integration over time, which is what we do on the path. On the path also, actually, we have a nervous system where we go deeper into the how we actually heal our nervous system and work with it. So if you want to take this further, it's my only private community. You can check the link below. But it's it's truly about the integration, which is why the nervous system all of a sudden becomes really important as you go through your manifestation and healing journey. At first, we kind of go, we address the bigger things, or we see the bigger things. But over time, we realize that it's not just healing our mom issues or that one thing that happened or those multiple things that happened. It's actually about creating safety and security and that sense of love and self-compassion and all of that now, right? Healing isn't just something that happens outside of ourselves. It becomes integrated into the now. And that's my spiritual way of almost like the correlation of the nervous system, finding safety and security and finding that more expansive energy within you to be able to hold what you desire, to be able to be more resilient. Energetically, I would say like you need that. That's the way I would see it or perceive it, is like we have to hold this steady vibration. When you bring all the vibration talk into the 3D, it becomes the nervous system. And that's the part that just blew my mind a few years ago, where I was like, holy crap, this is the physical component to the energy I see. And so anyway, I'm so excited you're here. With that, grab your coconut water, grab your golden turmeric latte, love those, or maybe a hibiscus tea today, and let's dive into the episode. Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm so excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life. My name is Talia Joy, and I am committed to showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to go on a magical journey of spiritual and self-growth to manifest the life you're meant for, we are now besties. Let's dive in. All right. So as promised, we're going to start with, in some ways, the basics or the basic understanding. So what is the nervous system? Everyone's all nervous system and somatics and regulate your nervous system. In simplest terms, non-expert, non-doctor terms, the nervous system is like the control center of your body. It sends signals to every part of you, and it sends signals of either we're safe or be on alert. And it controls the way that we respond to stress, how we rest, how we even digest our food. We'll get to that. And ultimately, everything really about how you perceive the world. So when you're in a heightened nervous system state, when you're in stress, you're going to perceive things even in a different way, right? Like those days that are just awful and you're like on high alert, basically. Someone may say something small and it's like, just another thing, right? Like it even impacts the way we perceive life, what our nervous system is doing. Said another way, what our nervous system is doing shifts the way that we perceive life. So the two main states of the nervous system are sympathetic and parasympathetic. So it sounds all fancy and whatnot, but parasympathetic is the relaxation mode and sympathetic is our stress mode. So sympathetic is fight or flight. You hear people talk about where the body goes when it's stressed, when it's anxious, when it's in danger. It's the I need to survive part of your body. And although this is extremely helpful in general, we need our sympathetic nervous system. We need to sometimes defend ourselves, speak up. We need to be able to respond to stress and handle pressure, and it's totally normal. But it is also triggered by our mind and other things. So financial worries, relationship stress, like deadlines, pressure, overstimulation, all these things also put us into a stress mode or a fight or flight mode. So it's, of course, a very important part of us. We don't want to get rid of it. It's just that we want to be aware of it and learn to manage it because it does impact everything that we create. So the parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite. It's the rest and digest. This is where we feel safe, where we're relaxed. So if you're just cruising along, driving your car, feeling chill, listening to music, you're going to be probably in a relaxation. If you're meditating, hopefully right before bed, not for everybody, but when we are in a state of relaxation, when we are in a state of even just neutral and like openness, we are in parasympathetic. So you may have noticed I said rest and digest, and I find this so fascinating. When we are in a state of stress, our food doesn't even digest properly. And I remember this from my nutrition training that we don't even absorb the minerals and nutrients that like to the full capacity. I'm not saying we don't absorb any, but not even close to the full capacity as if we're eating with a relaxed state. So like, oh, I just find that so interesting. So when your body is relaxed, you are more open. You are more what they say in flow. So nervous system speak, this is parasympathetic. This is where we want to be more often when we are manifesting and being creative and thinking of ideas and believing in ourselves and taking action. And all of this is we're always going to dip in and out of fight or flight and then into parasympathetic. It's just normal. Even when I'm taking big action in my life, I'm like half in stress and half in like, oh, this is exciting, right? Because it is. Expansion is stressful in some ways to the nervous system, but we just balance that with the parasympathetic, having tools to bring us back into relaxation so we're not up in stress all the time, right? So relaxation and parasympathetic is also where healing happens on a physical level and an emotional level. But let's talk physical. When your cells are in stress. So even if you are in your mind, you're thinking about bills, you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you're feeling bad about yourself, your cells, your immune cells are suppressed in that moment. So when you have extra things going on in your body or a knee you're trying to heal or inflammation or pain, stress is actually making it worse because your body doesn't have the resources to go like, okay, to heal pain and to heal things like that, that's almost secondary to the body. And again, this is from my nutrition and all the education I have in health, where your body does what it has to do first. So if a bear is running toward you, your body isn't spending resources on like healing that old scar you have, right? So that's why fasting and cleansing, sometimes it gives your body the actual space to go then heal those deeper things. So if you have chronic inflammation, if you have injuries, if you have pain, your body, while in stress, is not simultaneously sending resources to heal that pain. So I hope that that makes sense. There's also other things like blood flow and like lots of different reasons why we just don't heal when we are in chronic stress compared to when we're in relaxation. That's like where our body can just almost magically, because the body always wants to heal. It's always wanting to regenerate, and it always is regenerating. When we give it that space, when our body is relaxed, we can actually heal better. So energetically, we're receiving, we're more in flow, we're more receptive to ideas and downloads and connecting with our spirit team or feeling inspired or connected to nature when we're in that state. So again, when your nervous system is in a constant state of stress, your body is focused on survival, not abundance. You're not in a state of receiving. And even in that moment, if intuition tried to whisper, you wouldn't be available to it because you're so focused on the other thing, right? Again, we all do this. So no shame, absolutely not. It's about being aware. So when you're in a state of protecting yourself, when you're in a state of being hyper alert, we hold tight in our energy and we hold tight to what we have because we feel like it's what we can control. We start getting into more things like numbing and other, coping strategies, which again, even coping is normal. It's okay. But when we're out of alignment, when we're in stress more often, we're just trying to relax. We're just trying to escape. We're just trying to, either hold tight or control because we have so much stress. So again, that doesn't really help for our desires to be able to become clear for the next step, to land, to actually have us be able to hold them and have them fully manifest. So this is where I want to get more into the manifestation part. So you can do all the journaling and you can do all the affirmations and all of this. By the way, I feel that affirmations, visualization, journaling is very powerful. All of those are very, very powerful. However, you can't out-journal a nervous system that's off. You can't out-affirm your own beliefs about yourself on a cellular level. And that's the problem. They can help us to bridge the gap to reach upward, if this makes sense. But if you don't feel like, if you're in constant fight or flight, or you don't feel worthy, or you're in constant stress, saying like, I'm fine, I'm abundant, life flows magically, it actually stresses you out more on a cellular level because you're like, no, it's not. So we really want to be careful with this stuff because you could journal, but be saying, like, my life sucks. It's not the tool, it's who you be with the tool. So journaling, affirmations, visualizing, all that are very important parts of my life. But what is even more important is, how am I doing in my body right now? What do I need? If your body feels unsafe, if your nervous system is in survival mode, your manifestations are going to get, what people say, blocked. It's just they get detoured. They'll come around again, but we have to be able to hold the capacity of what we desire. And I want you to hear this on a physical level and a spiritual level. So energetically, my team has said to me, to my clients over and over, things about like, you have to create, you may have heard me say this, but like fertile ground for your manifestation to land. Or they'll say you have to be able to be it when it lands. So that's why we do the work. So nervous system style, it's actually so fascinating because if you can't create a sturdy nervous system now, and again, no shame, it's just this is the work I've had to do fully. If you can't hold it now, if you can't create a safe nervous system or a regulated nervous system now, having more actually registers as unsafe and more stressful. So my spirit team has showed me that they've said something like, we love you so much that we can't add stress to your life. So if I'm sitting here like, maybe it's stressed about money, maybe I'm avoiding my finances are a mess, giving me more money spiritually actually isn't in my highest good the way they see it, because it doesn't have fertile ground. That's like, it doesn't make me good and feel abundant and be good with money. I have to do that first to show that like, no, I could hold another 100 grand a year, or I could hold $1 million a year. So I've seen that energetically on a nervous system, level. If money is stressful, but you're asking for more money, there's a disconnect there. We have to fix or shift or just really have tools to bring ourselves back when we go into stress, to practice that, because that is the art of receiving. That is the art of going like, I am being it to become it. I am being it so I can attract it. If you don't feel safe now, you're not going to feel safe with more. And that's what spirit knows as well. And that's law of attraction. Like, it just on so many levels, it makes sense, right? So you can do all the journaling and affirmations, but if you're not feeling safe inside, even some of the time, then we can't bring more into our lives. So even consciously trying to manifest financial abundance, if the body is used to stress around money, as I was saying, you can't fully receive it. The body will pull back into familiar patterns. So even you might not respond to an email that is an important job offer, or you might make more and spend more, make more and get in more debt. Like some way you will bring yourself back to that center point that your nervous system is at. So you could be in lack and anxiety if somebody gave you 20 grand and be like, oh my gosh, like, what do I spend it on? Oh my God, it's going to go. It's going so fast. And like, I never, or you could be in abundance if someone gave you 20 grand. That's what's going on inside us and our nervous system. Our body will pull back. That's what feels like the invisible part that never allows you to fully do it. So you're manifesting really from your body's state of being. Your nervous system is either attracting or repelling what you want, depending on how safe or not safe / stressed that you feel. You might think, okay, I want my desires, the life I've been dreaming about. Like, do I have to heal everything, right? And no, you don't have to heal everything. I'm definitely not healed. I don't know if anybody ever is at the end of self-growth. We just continue expanding. And when it comes to the nervous system, the healing work is essential to the nervous system. The healing work, self-healing, breathing, bringing yourself back, reminding yourself you're safe. It is central to the nervous system. It's central to the central nervous system. So it's not just about doing more work or forcing or hustling or pushing yourself to manifest harder. It's really creating internal space for your manifestations to land. And as we really look at like, what is the fear around this thing? What is the stress around this thing? It may call us to go, okay, is that attached to an abandonment wound or fear in some way? And yeah, it may call you to walk through that stuff again. But it's not just about trying to be woundless. It's really creating that space for what you desire and creating a harmonious relationship with that thing. So as I've said before, like, who are you being in relation to the thing you want? Are you being stressed and controlling and anxious around money? Then we can't open up for more. Are you stressed around love and relationships and this constant stress narrative? There's nothing wrong. It's not shame. It's nervous system, right? It's physical. So as you heal these things, you create safety in your body, which opens up your capacity to receive. It allows you to feel open to receiving your desires. And once you do that, quote unquote, manifestation becomes more effortless. You do raise your vibration. You do feel more safe more often. When you get thrown off, you can bring yourself back. And that's the key. The universe doesn't need you to force anything and definitely doesn't need you to be emotionless. We are a human. We will feel shame and grief and excitement and let down. We're going to feel it all. But we need to learn the tools to work with our body to bring ourselves back, to continue on our path, right? That's why I was saying at the beginning, it kind of is about the everyday stuff. And nervous system regulation and having those tools is exactly that. It's 11:11 at the recording time. I love this. So I'm going to offer a couple simple ways and kind of break down regulation a little bit more so that we can be less up and down, right? That's been so my path where it's like I'm overwhelmed and overstimulated, and then I'm like in joy and bliss and all the spirit clouds and like up in the cosmos, and then I'm like in stress and pain and human, right? Trying to like bridge that gap, trying to have it not swing so far to one side and so far to the other side. This has been key in all of that, which of course, when you're swaying, your results are swaying. So I'm like, woohoo, biggest month ever in income. And then like, oh my God, this huge bill, or like, woohoo, I feel so great in my body. And then like biggest trigger ever or whatever. That's so the nervous system, and me too. And that's why this has been so powerful. If you want more on the path, my friend, as I said, it's the private community. This month is Emotional Healing and Emotional Resilience Month in February. We just wrapped up our Emotional Healing 3-day movement meditation practice with somatics and breath work. It's so powerful. Actually, some of my favorite stuff I've ever created. There's one called the Palm Tree Practice, and it's my favorite I've ever created. It's so good. On the Path is the place to be. And if this calls to you, I'll drop a link below where you can get your first month for just $11. After that, it's $27 a month, and you can cancel at any time if it's not for you. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I will offer some ways here, but over there, you're going to get much more of the tangible practices, the clear step-by-step. Okay, so we're talking about nervous system regulation. And one thing I learned from a beautiful soul that I worked with last year is about how regulation, much like I talk about balance here, it's not about even all the time. It's about being able to be swung out, triggered, stressed, etc., but then be able to bring yourself back. And we get better at that dance over time. And so then what happens over time is, again, it's not such a big swing, and we pull ourselves back, and our sort of wave of what we deal with becomes manageable. And even that wave is fairly even, where like, yes, some days are of course better than others, but overall, like, we're doing okay. And we can bring ourselves back, and we have these tools, and that vibrationally helps us to manifest consistently. The other thing that I thought was really interesting that I've learned about the nervous system that comes into these practices is recognizing that how we can know when our nervous system, or like where there's a place to heal, or when our nervous system has like spiked into fight or flight, is our response is considered disproportionate to the stimulus. So something seemingly small happens and we like freak out, either inside or outside. That's what we would call a trigger. So in these tools, recognizing that our goal is to regulate ourselves to a place where our reaction is proportionate somewhat to what's really going on. We don't spin into a spiral. We don't, have to have a meltdown every time. Over time, it becomes less of this huge emotional thing, again, inside or outside. So I just wanted you to hear that when it comes to what is regulation. It's not about Zen all the time. It's not about beach bliss all the time. It's not about not being in real life. Again, you're human spiritually. You're human with all the emotions. You're meant to feel them. Regulation is learning how to bring yourself back so that the big swing isn't as big. So one of the first ways that is free, it is the most powerful thing that you could possibly do to regulate, and just something that continues to be so healing. A lot of you know what I'm going to say, the B word, breath work, or just breath. So deep, intentional breathing is one of the easiest ways. Do it with me as you're hearing me speak. It's the easiest way to shift from fight or flight into rest and digest. A slow, deep breath. And a lot of people need maybe a couple, but I want to share that this is the first and in some ways only way that your nervous system gets the immediate signal that we're good. And I want you to think about, as you're breathing, if a bear was running toward you, you would not physically be able to or be thinking of deep breaths, right? Maybe if it's like slowly creeping and you're frozen, going like taking deep breaths. But if it's charging at you and you are in full fight or flight, running for your life, you're not going like, and deep breath in and full exhale. You're going as you're running, right? So to kind of reverse engineer that, when you take one deep breath, instantly your nervous system goes, oh, we're good. And I don't mean that one deep breath completely shifts your state, but what I'm saying is the second you take a deep breath, your brain gets the signal, hey, we're safe. And so if you continue to take a few deep breaths, it will completely change your state every single time because it's physical. It's like physiological. It just will, because you cannot be in full freak out mode and taking slow, deep breaths. That's why people say slow, is because, again, it's the opposite of stress. So doing this for just a few minutes, I love to go hand on heart, which comes into the next practice, but hand on heart, few deep breaths, you will start to feel your state shift. So the second thing, which hands on heart is one of these, somatic practices. If you hear people talk about these are essentially, again, not an expert here, but these are essentially, from what I understand, practices where you connect to your body and breath. And it's about showing your body you're safe. So things like stretching, breathing deeply, feeling into your body, intuitive movement. I think somatic practices is a very vague term where I'm sure there's tons of things. Intuitive dancing, things like that, but things that help you to regulate the nervous system and your body. Whereas breath work focuses on just breath, but a lot of somatics, it's going to have breath in it, and it's going to be intentional movements or gentle, loving gestures. Hand on heart is a somatic practice, putting your hands on your head, almost like people do when they're stressed, their hand on their head, but just laying your head into your hands. There's specific practices that show your body that you are safe, basically. So you can do that. You could look that up on YouTube. You could join on the path for our somatics that we're doing. But this is essentially a body practice. So another simple way you can regulate your nervous system, and this is one that I do all the time, is to create mini moments of safety, or I'll call them destimulation. And I'll say to my husband, like, I need to go destimulate. He's like, I gotcha. But these little moments where I carve out a pocket. It might be my first cup of coffee in the morning, or sitting with a cup of tea and just carving out a moment. It might be a walk in nature with no music, no headphones, just being in nature, maybe sitting in silence, maybe meditation, but a place where I physically register I am safe. And I'll say it to myself, just I am safe. And I don't have to be like on the edge or anything. I just create them. Right now, I am safe. Right now, this moment. And sometimes I'm even like about to run out the door with kids, and I'll just put my bare feet on even the floor in my house, and I'll just take a second to ground down. right now I am safe. I'm not being chased by a lion. My home's not being, taken from me or something. Like I am safe. I'm okay. And I create those intentional moments. And spiritually, before I knew about the nervous system, my team would show me like your brain has to register moments when like you're okay. Because in your head, you can go like, I'm not okay and I'm here and I'm there. So allowing your brain to register. And I've been doing that for years. Once I started learning about this, I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Because when your brain registers it, your nervous system registers it, right? So really taking moments where you are intentionally safe, small moments. And the key is not the time or the duration, it's about the safety. So do it in the shower, do it in your bed right before you get up, in the morning or right before you go to sleep. That would be a beautiful time to just go, right now, I am safe, and show your nervous system, like exhale, unclench, right? That is the nervous system switching states. And the last thing that you can do to regulate that I'm just going to talk about here, there's many other things, but the last thing I'm going to talk about here is really the deeper healing work. So you probably are already doing that. Things like inner child, shadow, if you've ever been to therapy, et cetera, basically because these core wounds that we carry from our experiences will make us always more heightened until we learn the healing and the integration and all of that. That's why, not because we want to hash up the past or not because you're a victim to this or that, not to be mad at our parents. It's more about making sure that your basically resting place isn't in stress. Because our resting place will be in constant stress, on edge, anxiety when we've been through a lot of shit. And that's something that I didn't even realize. I was doing the conscious work. I was like, no, but I want this and I desire this and I'm taking bold action. And my nervous system was like a 7-year-old traumatized in a closet or in a corner, like hiding herself from the world. Like it's so deep that I had to go back and look at that stuff. And I know if you're here, you're not a newbie to the work. So keep doing that deep inner healing work, which is why we're doing a whole month on the path, because it's so important with love, compassion, creating safety in your nervous system. And it's not just about rehashing the biggest events. It's actually more about seeing the impact that they have had on you. So On the Path is truly where we can do this together, but you continuing on your path of whether it's inner child or shadow, I teach about inner teenager as well. But the different parts of us, the parts of us that may feel abandoned or like we can't trust people, with loving compassion, that's what the healing work really is. Seeing ourselves with compassion. As I said, it's not so much about rehashing the events. It's more about the impact it's had on us, why we do not feel good enough, why we do not feel worthy of giving ourselves the love or investing the time into our dreams and desires, why we don't feel worthy of love, or why we talk down to ourselves, why we shame ourselves, why we can't love ourselves as who we are. These are very human things, and me too. Right? Really, truly, like I always am going through this and continuing to do the work because we are messy humans. But all of those things that's where the healing work really comes in. And as we do that deeper healing work, we untether from those states of constant stress, constant shame, constant fear, and we are able to move out of them. We're able to move out into a higher place where maybe even our normal is just more neutral. Doesn't mean you have to be like Susie Sunshine, like dancing on rainbows all the time and become this extrovert and become, it's not about that. It's about not being stuck in the lower places. And that's why the healing work, it's like it untethers your bottom line. Does that make sense? I feel like most of you will get me there. So continue on your work doing that. Okay, so we're going to wrap up, and a couple things to leave you on, a few questions to think about to integrate this work. And for these, I want you to be curious and be the observer. We're not going deep into the stories. We're not going deep into the trauma. We're observing it. So asking yourself, where do I feel the most resistance or stress in my life right now? When I think about my desires, when I think about having my desires, when I think about my current relationship to my desires, does my body feel open or does it feel tense? Does it feel excited and receptive, or does it feel uncertain and guarded or mad or in fear? So also asking yourself, how can I create more moments of safety? And also asking yourself, what makes me feel safe? Where are those times when I can say, right now, I'm good. Right now, I feel safe. Is it in the bath? Is it in nature? Is it meditating? Is it breathing? Is it going for a run? So think about these things to yourself, about where your happy places are, and make an intention to do more of those, to regulate, to give that gift to yourself. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really do hope that this resonated with you and helped you understand or expand or just jam out on the nervous system and manifestation. And remember, it's not about forcing anything, because if you don't believe on a body level that it's possible or that you're worthy of it or whatever, forcing it is actually more stressful. Going like, okay, by January 1st, I'm going to do this. That stresses us out on a body level, on a cellular level. So remembering it's not about forcing, like tomorrow I'll be stronger than I am today. It's about creating the space to receive them, creating the space of okayness in your body, in your nervous system now, to show that you can energetically hold what it is that you desire. And just not even about manifestation, just for your life. As we regulate, we feel less fear, we feel less anxiety. We don't swing so hard from depression to excitement to feeling anxious to, all over the place, which again is a journey I definitely know well. But this helps us to feel more even, to continue on our path, to be able to say, I want to show up for myself. I want to do yoga 3 times a week, and then do it because you love yourself, because you give yourself that steadiness to pull through. That is the nervous system. It's not about you being weak. It's not about willpower or motivation. It's about regulation. And the amazing thing is you don't have to heal all your stuff. Start with your breath. Start with some gentle somatics. Start by registering when you feel safe, when you feel okay. And even that is healing. So it doesn't need to take 1,000,000 hours. It doesn't need to be expensive, but this is where you will unlock your next level. So I really encourage you to continue on with that work, showing up for yourself daily, staying on your path, anchoring in, less swing and more just like trying to be more even, while knowing life will throw you off. And then we come back. We come back to our breath. We come back to our happy place, and we regulate. So if this episode resonated with you, I am going to ask for you to subscribe to the show, consider doing a review, pretty please. It helps the show so much, especially if you are someone that continues to come back. I would appreciate it so much. And share it with a like-minded bestie. If you've got someone that you want to talk about this stuff with, I would love if you shared it with them, because the more people that understand this, the more of us can take that power back into our own hands, can feel better, can do it with our like-minded posse. So share it if you feel the need. And if you want to go the next step with me, consider on the path. And I hope you have a really good day. I'll see you in the next episode. Hey Seeker, thanks so much for tuning in. Before you go, I want to let you know about The Bedtime Ritual. This is a brand new book that I've created that is a 100-day journey of evening journal prompts. The Bedtime Ritual is a perfect tool for bringing in more intentional reflection, self-care, me time, manifestation, all in just one prompt per evening. I know you're going to love The Bedtime Ritual. The link is below and you can find it on Amazon.